Good morning. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Again, keeping on a steady pace, Wednesday briefings, I think that they're beneficial really for all of us. As I always do, I'll start with some general points that I would like to share and then turn it over to Andrew and we'll go through Q&A. Public safety, always starting with public safety, year-to-date stats, and using preliminary data always from the New Orleans Police Department through September 23rd, comparing 2023 to 2022. Again, we just continue to see steady progress. We're just showing progress. The men and women of the New Orleans Police Department just continue to show up on behalf of the residents of this city. Total crimes against persons remain down at 20%. Murders remain down at 24%. Armed robberies remain down at 33%. Non-fatal shooting incidents are down 18%. Non-fatal shooting victims are down 19%. Carjackings remain down at 44%. As of September the 23rd, the New Orleans Police Department has confiscated 2,143 guns so far this year. This is compared to 1,994 at the same time this year last year, representing a 7% increase. You know, as many guns as we get off the street, the safer our streets become. And so these efforts will continue to be a top priority on behalf, of course, of the residents and visitors that we serve. This year, the New Orleans Police Department created 148 new civilian positions, and 100 positions have been hired or filled as of September the 25th. Wanted to give you that. And again, these positions have proven to ease burdens on our officers. And those, again, those men and women that continue to show up and be the boots on the ground. Another 4 hires are pending with an October start date. So again, more information at that time we'll continue to share in that regard. OPCD, you know, that's our Orleans Parish Communications District, or 911-311, so far has diverted 768 calls to our mobile crisis intervention unit, and you know that we launched that June 1, and we have just again continuing to see a steady progress. In just 1 week, in the week of September 18th through September 24th, we received 52 calls, that mobile crisis intervention unit, representing 34% of all mental health related calls to 911. 11 calls resulted again in a transport of care to care, and 7 calls were resolved over the phone, and that's a huge win. This is something that we anticipated happening, and again, it gets no better. When I talk about meeting people where they are, this is the city of New Orleans showing up with resources, meeting our folks where they are. So vitally important. The New Orleans Police Department, you know, we will be hosting our 40th annual Night Out Against Crime on Tuesday, October the 17th, and they've identified Milne Recreation Center for the official kickoff location. As you know, this event just brings all of us together, residents, law enforcement agencies, businesses, neighborhood organizations, local officials, and all as it relates to crime prevention and awareness, building community. It's important. Saltwater-intrusion. So I'm very proud of the coordinated efforts of my administration, but that of our state and federal partners just across the board, and a regional leadership. Just thanking everyone for leaning in. Calls are happening daily, but very excited that our President Biden, has moved forward with a federal declaration, and that's something that we've requested, something that is happening, and of course that unlocks the necessary resources for the city, our region, and our state to be more proactive and to be proactive in regards to viable solutions that have been identified and that we will continue to move forward. This declaration paves the way for that. So very excited about that. Also wanted to talk about graffiti abatement program. You know, we launched this in August, and again, this is about cleaning the city up, changing behaviors and attitudes of our public, and it's been a success. We call it Safe Wash Solutions, and Safe Wash Solutions is currently focusing again on graffiti removal efforts to public properties, and of course working with our business community as well, and we're just continuing to see progress. The CAO is working with the law department, again, to identify the best path forward for graffiti removal on private properties. To date, over 23,000 square feet of graffiti has been removed from 14 locations across the city. I was looking at the removal along the French Market area and kind of adjacent to the mural that we put forth in partnership with Canada, France, and the city of New Orleans, and it just looks so much more beautiful being rid of graffiti that was kind of adjacent to it. Notable locations: the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office, the wall there, Norman C. Francis Parkway and Tulane Avenue, and Canal Street Bridge. I had to throw in my French Quarter one because that's so important to me, and especially a symbol of partnership. The city's website, I wanted to give that, NOLA.gov and /graffiti-abatement for more information. Again, that public facing tool to aid our public in knowing where the resources are going and how we're being proactive and getting results based on the resources that we are putting on the ground. Residents are encouraged to contact 311 if there are key areas that you would like to share, again, with the administration. Plaza Tower. So again, my administration just continues to be unwavering in regards to our commitment towards removing blight throughout the city, which is evident in more of our, I think it's about 100 properties now alone that have been demolished this year. So we're moving ahead and just again putting our direct allocation, our resources to work. A key component of our holistic approach to improving public safety and reducing violent crime is, again, getting the trash out of our people's eyes. And this is something we know that has proven to be effective. Our biggest blighted issue right now, I call it the biggest armpit we have that needs to be shaved, we know is Plaza Tower. The city has imposed over $180,000 of fines thus far to the building owner, and the hearing September 20th, again, to recoup costs regarding barricades, lost revenue due to parking meters and the like. Another hearing is scheduled for next month, and of course, to decide if the owner should pay an upward of $500 per day regarding the violation. But we are in constant communication with the owner, and according to the owner's attorney, a purchase agreement was signed on August 21st, and he has indicated that the purchaser plans to redevelop the site. Again, this is something that we will continue to watch, monitor in partnership, but again, we have to remain steadfast in our actions relative to blight removal in the city of New Orleans. Also wanted to highlight, I'm almost done here, the Interim Superintendent, Superintendent Kirkpatrick, has hit the ground running on Friday, September 22nd. You know that I swore our interim superintendent in after an extensive national search. I'm just very excited, really, about the onboarding of our superintendent. Every day has proven to be the best decision for our department, for the city of New Orleans, for our community. And so hats off to all that have just given a warm welcome to Superintendent Kirkpatrick, which is found not only throughout our department, our community, of course, engagement with residents and the like. I'm very excited about that. Also, the New Orleans City Council has set forth the timeline for the interim superintendent regarding the confirmation process. So I'm thankful to the council for doing that and appreciate it. I also want to commend for the inclusion of a full day, if you will, for community input and testimony. I think that that's always good, but I anticipate a fair and a smooth confirmation process. Last but not least, I wanted to, I'm moving forward with some action on today, and this is an executive order that I will be signing regarding a home rule charter advisory review committee. If you all remember, last spring I proposed this advisory committee in terms of reviewing a process relative to our charter. Just a holistic approach, and this would allow an opportunity for, again, expert review for the charter, as well as more input and engagement from residents. Because, again, any charter changes have to go before the public for a vote, and if we can engage the public on the front end, not do a piecemeal, but a holistic, and this is in line with best practices throughout the country. So as I requested, the council did put forth a motion to create the committee. This was last spring. However, no council member moved it forward. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead on and move forward by executive order creating this charter advisory review committee, in which I'll sign. To give you just a little bit more meat, and we'll share the executive order with you after signing. They'll make sure you have copies. But the committee will consist of representatives from each of our colleges and universities, again, aligned with many of the structures that we have embedded in our processes relative to government in this city, as well as 4 mayoral designees, one whom must be a retired judge. Also 3 council designees as well. The committee will be tasked, again, with performing a full review of the City of New Orleans Home Rule Charter. And this should be something that the city continues to do, again, as we move forward. If that's every 5 years, every 10 years, but this will be up, again, to this advisory committee making recommendations in terms of how we should move forward with any changes relative to the charter. So with that, I'm going to do the signing here, and then I will, thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead on. And again, as I stated, full copies will be provided to you all after this press conference. Just looking down, I'm very excited about NASA. Thank you all for covering that on yesterday. A big deal for the city of New Orleans. And what I love, one of my takeaways is that, with the Michoud, it's a Michoud Assembly Facility, America's rocket factory, right here in our backyard, in our city. And I even love how they say the road to Mars goes through the city of New Orleans. This is a big deal. We're showing up. And so with that, Andrew, we'll take questions.
All right, we'll start on this end. We'll talk to
Mayor, I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned Plaza Tower, and I think you're talking about this later on today, but since you're here now, I was just going to ask you about, I think the EPA is planning on gifting $2 million to the Naval
NSA.
And I just wanted to ask you, because I believe the owner of the Naval Base is the same owner of Plaza Tower. So I just wanted to ask, does the $2 million go to the city, or does it go to the owner?
So first of all, we own NSA. So it's our property. But in partnership, in terms of the developer that has been identified, is the same, meaning Joe Yeager. This grant has been one that we've been focusing on, that we have moved forward really in lockstep with the ownership. So this is not a sidestep. This has been an example of a coordinated approach and how we work together to solve these major redevelopment projects, and challenges, quite frankly, with large mass or scale of facilities like NSA. This is a big win for the city.
Hi, good morning. I'm wondering if you can talk more about the federal disaster declaration for saltwater-intrusion, what specifically that covers, and what the city is planning to ask for or request.
So first of all, the declaration was just signed by our president. Copies of that declaration will be provided. And as you know, with any declaration, particularly at that federal level, it paves the way for one at the local level, we've declared, paves the way at the state level, our governor has declared, and now with the federal declaration, it unlocks the resources necessary to move forward with a viable solution that has been vetted. And so we'll be moving forward with that. Right now, it comes in at the 75 split. But, we're excited. Benjamin Abbott has been the designee by the president to be our boots on the ground in this regard. So more to come.
Hi, good
morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
You mentioned the interim chief, Ken Kirkpatrick. What have her activities been since she was sworn in, and what kind of interactions have you had with her?
Well, activities has been leading the department. And so every single day, she's showing up doing her job.
Be a little more specific.
Well, specific, meeting with the community, various stakeholders. Yesterday morning, for example, I had my leading ladies breakfast with our faith community. And superintendent was there, spoke directly, meeting with people, all sectors of our community, going to churches, meeting with the men and women of the New Orleans Police Department, boots on the ground. So providing the leadership and the experience that is necessary. It is felt, it is seen, and it is appreciated.
Thank you.
Hey, Mayor. One of the questions that we've gotten from readers with the saltwater intrusion situation is there a world, and I know there's a lot of moving parts here, but
Okay.
is there a situation in which the water in New Orleans just gets turned off to protect the infrastructure with things like desalination problems?
Now, no. Right now, we're focusing on being as proactive as possible, and it's working in our favor. The unified command, relative to the local, state, and federal partners, we're all leaned in on this. And I'm just proud. I'm proud of the coordinated efforts and the leadership that is being provided and demonstrated on every level.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
When did you find out about the concerns that this saltwater intrusion may impact New Orleans?
Well, first of all, in July, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers notified everyone, right, of the possibility based on what we were seeing or what they were saying at higher levels of the river, meaning the Ohio region and the like. Of course, the inundation with Plaquemine and St. Bernard, the city of New Orleans, our Sewage and Water Board have been activated in helping our neighbors, and we're continuing to do that. Also learned, just like in terms of about a week out now, maybe this is in our second week. So when let me see, yeah, that's about it, a couple weeks out.
And was it because of the saltwater intrusion? Is that why you cut your trip short from France?
I cut my trip short because, one, I wanted to be, again, in lockstep and boots on the ground with the coordinated effort, local partners, state and federal partners. It was very important for me to be with my governor and with my brother and sister. I call them, they're parish presidents, but my brothers and sisters, in terms of leadership across the region. It's very important, and it proved to be very effective as well.
All right, next question.
Hi, I'm Delaney Dreyfus with The Lens. Is there a push from the city to impose a limit on industrial use of Mississippi River water in order to, during this time of emergency with the saltwater situation?
Use no. No, we will continue to keep the public updated and in real time, but right now, it's really no need to panic. Our water is safe, and that's the biggest thing, but also the public needs to know that all layers and levels of government are focusing on this, leaning in on it, and we're moving in the right direction. I could not be more confident nor proud of the leadership that I'm seeing. Thank you very much.